everyone. Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Brittany Jones-Cooper. The ABC show Single Parents follows a group of parents without partners who band together and help each other deal with the ups and downs of raising children. Jake Choi, who's joining us today, plays Miggy, a 20-year-old single dad just trying to figure it all out. Take a look.
Hey, how's your dad's?
Exhausting. He and Sharon are in a fight and they think I don't know.
Yeah. Some relationships are just roller coasters. When I think about what my ex and I went through.
Ex? You mean Bobby with an I? The golf pro?
Yeah.
Miggy, you guys dated for a week. That's not a serious relationship.
Then why is she still emailing me?
She's not. This is her newsletter. Golf Tolf? Is Tolf supposed to be like talk?
Put your hands together for Jake Choi. You're gonna clap for yourself.
I'm clapping for myself.
I'll
Yeah.
snap for you.
Hey.
How you doing? Happy Friday. We made it.
Yes. Happy Friday.
Yes.
Woo.
I know. It was a long week. I love this show, Single Parents. I talked to Leighton Meester at the beginning of the season, and it's just, for me, it's one of the most fun comedies on network TV right now. It really caters to my sense of humor, so
Yep.
I thank you for being part of such a great show.
Yeah, no.
What has this experience been like for you? Because this is the first show that you're a series regular on.
Yes.
right?
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you for coming. Man, Friday morning. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming. This is dope. Yeah. It's you know, throughout your acting career, you just kind of you spend so much time and energy and money going to classes and just pounding the pavement, auditioning, and because you want to get that show, a series regular role where you kind of want to have fun doing the work that you do with a great cast and crew, and this is that show. And I didn't even know when I got it. I was just kind of like, look, I can finally pay rent. My mom will be proud of me finally, and I get to be on a show. But as we started shooting, I realized, wow, I'm very lucky to get to work with these people and also the creatives. They give you so much freedom, artistic freedom to pitch ideas and really make the character your own, right? And so it's my first series regular role, and I really hit the jackpot. Yeah.
And Miggy's such a lovable character because he's just really clueless in a lot of ways.
That's a good word. Yeah,
and it's
thank you for
fun
using that word.
To
yeah.
watch his journey. So when you first saw the character, what parts of Miggy were there, and then what parts maybe did you sort of add or suggest or bring to the table?
Miggy, look, I was Miggy, growing up, just minus the baby, right? I think.
Huge minus.
Yeah,
That's
huge
yeah.
minus. That I don't have a baby that I know of. But so I was into sneakers. I was never really academically smart. So I really identified with Miggy, and just he wears his heart on his sleeve, and I think we shot the pilot. When we got the series order, the showrunner JJ was like, "Hey, come to the writers' room and just meet all of us for like an hour and just have lunch with us." So we talked, and so the writers started kind of getting a sense of who I am, and they would write around who you are as a person, and but just off the script on paper, Miggy was so likable, so charming, like you say, he's a little clueless, right? And but the great thing is, the writers don't really lean too much into how clueless he is. He just Miggy's confident. He thinks he knows everything, but he doesn't, which makes that's a comedy, right? And so as an actor, I didn't want to lean too much into his dumb aspect. It's really more him thinking he knows everything, but he doesn't. Yeah.
And what is it like having a TV baby? Have you bonded with? Is that like your son now?
I love them. Here's a secret. They're twins.
Yes.
They're twins, Lincoln and Theo. And I love them so much. And here's the thing, right? Theo is a chill one. Okay. When the parents bring Theo on set, he looks around and he sees all the people, and he might cry for like a few seconds, and he calms down. And then especially when they give him to me, I'll do the rock squat pause for a couple of seconds, and he'll kind of sort of rest his head on my chest, and then of course my male ovaries will burst. But Lincoln, oh, he's a diva. He figured it out already. The moment they bring him on set, he starts crying. And he won't stop. And so they have to bring him back to the trailer. And in my mind, that's genius. Because in my mind, I can see Lincoln going, yeah, Theo, make that money for us. I'm going to go sleep. So make our college tuition money for the both of us, you know? I could see him just thinking that in his head, in his 1-year-old head. During the pilot, they were both cool. And you fast forward 6 months, and Lincoln just doesn't want to be there. He just doesn't. It's so crazy.
Lazy baby or really smart baby.
He's a really smart baby.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, now when the first AD goes, hey, we need baby Jack, everyone goes, get Theo. Bring him on first, because yeah.
You mentioned your male ovaries. Do you feel like playing this role has prepared you to be a dad one day? Like, do you feel like it's given you, because you mentioned something about a baby rock, like you had a term there, so you're learning stuff.
The Rock Squad pause, yeah. So, when the original pilot script, what they had was I couldn't put my baby to sleep. Right, that Miggy couldn't put his baby to sleep. Taron Killam's character Will says, "Hey, you have to wrap him in a burrito, with his blanket." So Taron actually pitched an idea where he said, "Hey, I did this thing in real life for my daughters where I used to rock, squat, and then pause, and rock, squat, and pause, and this motion would help my babies fall asleep." So the creatives love that, and they said, "You know what? Let's change the burrito thing into the rock, squat, pause." And so on set, I was doing it to the babies, and it worked. The rock, squat, pause works. And that was in the pilot. And yeah, that's one thing I took from that. I think I would make a good father. The diaper changing thing. I don't know if I can. I would probably throw up on the diaper that has the baby poop on it while it changes. So I'm gonna need help with that. But everything else I can do.
Yeah, just hire somebody to change the diapers, and you'll do the rock, squat, pause, and it's a perfect.
They'll be with me.
Yeah,
24/7.
perfect combination.
And yeah.
So what kind of feedback have you had from parents on this show? Has anybody hit you up on social media and they're like, thank you, or do they feel seen? Because I grew up with a single parent.
Me too.
And
Yep.
and so watching it is actually really nice because you do see the community that it takes really to bring up a kid.
This is, I think, the first show that truly centers single parents and what single parents go through week in and week out. And that's so special, right? Especially on a network, right? And yeah, you grew up with a single parent. My mom was a single parent, and I get messages all the time, like emails or on social media, like, hey, thank you for representing us. We don't get seen, we don't get reflected on TV. And I think it's great when people can really sort of feel visible, right? And because, God, I have so much respect for single parents. I don't know how they do it.
No idea how my mom did it, yeah.
Right? It's superheroes. And I have people that are not single parents, that are just parents that hit me up because they're like, hey, the struggle's real, so I can only imagine. And I think that's great. Also, I have Asian American friends who are single parents that are like, oh my God. Right? Like, we're real, but we never get reflected because there's this model minority myth, right? That Asians and Asian Americans they can do no wrong, right? They go to school and they get A pluses and they don't ever get divorced. And what single parents? No, it's not real. And it's so real. That's who I grew up with. All my friends were single parents, growing up, 18, 19, 20. They're popping babies and breaking up with their partners. And I'm just like, damn, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, I can barely keep myself alive, but so they hit me up and they go, wow, this is groundbreaking, Yeah.
That must feel really amazing. And that representation is so important. And I know that's something that's important to you across the board, especially with LGBTQ characters in the Asian community. It's just, you don't see it a lot.
You don't
And
see
I
it
know
a lot.
Front Cover was that amazing movie that you were part of. And
Yeah.
just what that did for Asian American representation in the LGBT community was so huge. So is that something that you look for going forward, just making sure that these narratives are being told?
Right. I think because, you know, it's, you got to do more than just cast people of color or queer folk. You have to really give them dimensions, right? And it's great to be, you know, front and center of the narrative, but I think the stories that we tell around these people have to be authentic and complex, and these characters need to be three-dimensional, right? And because people are complex. Doesn't matter what race you are or sexual orientation, we're all complex human beings, and I think it's very important to capture that and capture the nuances, because like I'm Korean American, but someone who is Filipino American, they'll have a totally different experience, right? You know, culturally and societally, and is that even a word, societally?
I'll take it.
Okay, I'll
Yeah,
take it.
sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. You know what I'm
Sounds
talking
good
about.
to me.
Yeah. And so, and you know, the conversations are being had and they're getting more nuanced, and I like it. So yeah, I think that's true inclusion, when you put people in front and behind the camera, but the stories are authentic, you know, and truthful. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about going behind the camera or writing something that's not really your bag?
You know, a lot of actors are great at like kind of sitting down and doing this. Yeah. I'm not. I can't. But if I have a friend who's a writer or someone who can do this, and I sort of give them ideas, that would be cool. You know, I think it's a normal thing on TV where after the 4th, 5th season, cast members start directing episodes here and there. You know, I know they do that. Like a New Girl, I know a couple of the cast members directed. That might be fun. I don't know about directing like a whole film or a whole series or anything like that. That's crazy. Yeah. That's a lot. It's a lot. You know, I work on these movies and I see the directors, and I kind of like sort of secretly shadow them, and I don't know how they do it, because you have to think about so much, right, as a director. And I think if I was a director, I would strictly focus on like the performance part, right? Because that's what I know, and I don't know if I can worry about like, oh hey, you know, this shot, this tracking shot, oh with this huge crane, like let's get that, and then let's do this to 50-50, and I can't. Yeah.
What is your process as an actor? Do you do anything before to get in the right mindset? Do you have any rituals? What's sort of your process?
It depends on the character, the project, what scene is coming up. But usually I like to be very focused and kind of have my alone time, maybe at least 10 minutes before they need me, so that I can just kind of go over the lines, what specific choices I'm going to make, why I'm making those choices. Is there something in between the lines that I can really play with, or something that's... I look for spontaneity and unpredictability, and I think sometimes it won't happen when you're on set, you know, or you gotta sort of take what the other actor's giving you, right? And so you can't really plan anything, but there are choices that, you know, you have to sort of make within the scene, right? And I saw this awesome clip with DiCaprio. He was shooting Wolf of Wall Street. It was like a behind-the-scenes thing where it was one of those scenes in the Big Office. Y'all seen Wolf of Wall Street, right? And the camera was starting on him or on his hand. It was a close up, but he was gonna walk down the hallway, and the camera was gonna back up. So he's super focused. You see his face. He's very focused. He's not talking to anybody, and he's just looking in. He's just in the zone. And then they go background action. So all the background people are talking, and then the director goes action, and he goes, okay, cool. So yeah, you got that. You got this. Take care of this. All right, cool. I'll talk to you. And then like, he just turns on, And then he goes cut, and he goes back to being focused, and he goes back to the mark, and he's just, I love that. He's not on, he's focused, and that's more of my kind of style, I think. There are actors that love talking and until action, and that's cool. Like that's your thing. Maybe that's how you relax into the scene. Me, I can't do that. I can't talk before action. Like I have to sort of have at least a couple of seconds just kind of focus and then get into it. Yeah.
You mentioned playing with your scene partners. I love the dynamic between you and Kimry Lewis.
I love Kimry.
She plays Poppy.
She plays Poppy, yep.
And can you just take me through what it's like working with her? Because your chemistry on camera, I can feel it. So I would imagine off camera, you guys have to be buddies.
I love her so much. She's like my older sister. I call her an honorary Korean because she grew up in L.A. and she went to school in like Koreatown. She used to always joke. She would be like, I was the only like black girl in the after school programs with all the Koreans. You know that, right? Like they used to teach me Korean there, and we just have this unspoken chemistry that and it's when people of color get together and you're like the two people of color on the cast, you gotta have that bond, and on set she's so present. I love her. She's so present and she's so collaborative. You know what I'm saying? So and every take is different with us. Yeah, with Kimry. Every take is different. She'll give you a different thing every time. And so that keeps me on my toes. And she'll come up to me and she'll be like, "Hey, remember that? Remember that one thing from that one movie? You want to try that? Remember that one line? I think it'll be a good joke." And I'll be like, "Yes, let's try it." Or I'll come up to her and I'll pitch something to her, and she'll be like, "Yeah, that's funny. Let's try it." And the show itself, the producers and the directors, they let us riff a little bit, and ad lib and improv, and so we take advantage of that. I think that's what makes the scenes more fluid and more bantery. And yeah, Kimry, she's just very funny. She's very funny. Yeah, she knows comedy very well.
And so you've done drama and comedy. This is probably the most like engaged you've been in comedy, though, right? Like,
Yes.
What have you learned in this role about comedic acting?
You have to be even more specific than drama. You can't be muddy. And you have to be just as grounded in comedy as drama. People say comedy isn't easy, and there's a reason. I think there's a certain formula. So, sure, like drama or comedy, it doesn't matter. You have to be truthful. Number one, but there are jokes. They're there for a reason, and you have certain build-ups and payoffs. And you just have to be present. You can't pre-plan anything, really. But you learn so much. I learned so much from the other four. I mean, Brad Garrett, come on. Brad Garrett, he's comedy legend. He actually is a good example of someone who's very grounded, and he seems like he doesn't do much, but he does so much. But he doesn't reach. He doesn't indicate a lot. He's just very good at that dry humor, and but I think it really all is on the writing. The writing is very important, and the writers on our show are so good. So I can just come and we'll be rehearsing, and I'll just say the lines without any kind of emotion or anything, and people will laugh because the writing is so good, and it makes an actor's job so much easier. Yeah.
On the flip side, you're going to be doing a more dramatic turn with an upcoming movie.
Yes.
The Sun is also a star.
Yeah.
With Yara Shahidi. Can you tell us a little bit about that project and your role in it?
Mm-hmm. It is a drama. It's a love story based on a young adult novel called The Sun is Also a Star, and it's not just a love story, but it deals with the issue of deportation, which is very timely right now. My character, I play Charles Melton's older brother, and He's the opposite of Miggy. I mean, he's the opposite of Miggy. He's an asshole, right? But it's justified, you know. He's the older brother to this golden child of the family who can do no wrong, and he's sort of like the failed older brother. And he hangs with the wrong people. He's very abrasive and aggressive in how he goes about things, very sarcastic. So he is very intelligent. It's just he doesn't apply it in the ways that his two immigrant parents wanted him to apply it. And me, the director, Rai, who's so awesome, we really wanted to humanize the character as much as possible. And I think you'll find some redeeming qualities, especially the scene with me and Yara. It's a sweet scene. It's a great scene, and but the other scenes are pretty intense. It was really fun to get back into like indie filmmaking, because that's what I did before TV, like theater and indie filmmaking films, and it was a very collaborative effort, and there's a lot of drama. Yeah, it was intense. But it was so fun, you know, because everyone felt safe. And Charles and Yara are very generous and they're so great. They're so talented.
Do you find it hard to shake off that kind of heaviness and go back to comedy, or are you able to switch it? No.
I can switch it. I think, you know, some actors I think have a harder time, but this is why the prep work is so important. You know, if the prep work is there and you really spent the time and energy to flesh his character out, I feel like it's actually easier to turn it off. You know, I think it's important mentally and emotionally to sort of leave the character and the scenes there, you know? So when you're not on set, you're just another human being, right? And yeah, I love doing drama and comedy. They're both challenges in itself, and they're both so fulfilling in itself. Yeah.
And you can do both, so why not?
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, before we go, we do have a couple questions.
Cool.
The first one is on Twitter. Kiki Cat XOXO wants to say, hi, Jake. Besides your own, which character is your favorite on Single Parents?
It's like asking me which children's my favorite. Kiki, do you really love me? Which character is your favorite? My baby. Ooh. Baby Jack. That's my favorite character on Single Parents.
Want a real Sophie's Choice? Now, which twin is your favorite? Twist. Don't answer that.
She did not just do that to me.
Don't answer that.
I'm not going to answer that.
Let's go to the audience. Who do we have first?
Hello.
Hi.
If you could take away one characteristic from your character and give it to yourself, what would it be?
Wow. Good question. Miggy's moral compass. Unshakable. He has the strongest... Because Poppy's character prides herself on being like the moral, morally ground person out of the four older parents, you know? And I think Miggy's is even stronger than hers, like the moral compass. And I think I can definitely use more of that in my life.
Can't we all?
Can we all?
Can't we all?
Right? Yeah.
And one more question?
Hi.
Hi.
I have an online question, which is, do you have a preset routine for in your trailer, and does it differ between when you're doing comedy roles and drama roles?
Definitely, if I'm doing drama, I need more time just to kind of like be by myself, wherever it is, trailer, the corner of a room, and I think comedy. Really depending on the scene, but usually I don't need to seclude myself as much, you know? I can go on set and run lines with people around me and talk in between and sort of just look for the gold, right, in the scene. It's such a cliche to look for the gold in the scene, but I can sort of let myself go a little bit doing comedy as opposed to drama, where drama, if it's an intense scene, I would literally have to tell the first AD, hey, can you just tell people to not come up to me and talk to me because I have to prep for this scene. I don't want to be an asshole, you know? So, but yeah.
I do that here all the time. I'm like, don't talk to me. I'm not going to dig Choi. I need to focus.
Right.
It's a serious thing.
I haven't finished my coffee yet.
Yes, I need my time.
Yep, I need my time.
Well, Jake, it's been so fun talking to you. I really do love Single Parents.
Thank you.
It's such a fun, loving comedy,
Yeah.
and it's like a joy to watch every time. And you can binge them so easily, which I love the most.
Right. Is it on Hulu? You can binge it on
You
Hulu?
can binge it on Hulu.
Yeah.
Yeah, so check it out, guys. If you haven't, Single Parents is worth it. And it airs Wednesdays at 9:30, 8:30 Central on ABC. Give it up for Jake Choi.
Thank you.